Do you have difficulty putting on your socks and shoes because of limited joint mobility or stiffness? Whether you have knee or hip arthritis, have a history of a knee or hip replacement, or just simply have stiff joints, this video is for you because you are not alone in having difficulty with this task. Take it from all of these comments I received when I posted a short video about this. But there's not many videos out there showing you how to improve this exact range of motion. It is possible, but you have to do it in a way that's not going to anger your joints. In this video, I'm going to show you my top 3 favorite movements to help regain the mobility to put your socks and shoes on easily. Take it from these members from the Adventures for Life membership. They've improved their joint mobility to make this a simple task, when it wasn't always before. Let's get started. Oh, and I forgot to mention, stick around till the end because number 3 is the most vital when it comes to mastering this task. This first movement is looking at knee mobility, particularly knee bending, because when you're in this figure 4 position, you need to be able to have a knee that bends enough to bring your leg up. Now, even if your knee bending is great, or so you think, I challenge you to try this movement just to make sure everything's moving properly. Stagger your feet. The knee that you're working is in front. I like to have something to hold on to for this, whether it's a chair, a kitchen counter, something stable. From here, work on using your body weight to drive your knee forward. But as you do this, don't let your heel come off the ground. Drive your knee forward. This back leg can be doing whatever is most comfortable. If you need to bring it in a little bit closer, if you need to lift the heel off, whatever feels good. Your goal for this is to be able to push your knee far enough where you can't see your toes. That's a good rule of thumb to start out with, which is about there for me. Once you pass that, then you can start moving in a little bit further to see how much knee bending range you can get. You're not forcing any range of motion that your knee is not ready for. Ease into it, and then see if you can push just a little bit more range of motion as you get a few more repetitions in. 5, 10, maybe 15 repetitions on each side can be a great place to start. I also have this video here that you can go to after with more tips and strategies on how to get more knee bending. This next movement is working external rotation at the hip, which means your knee comes out as your lower leg comes in. This position is necessary to achieve this figure 4 position. This next movement is going to be targeting that range of motion. Please keep in mind, if you have had a hip replacement that's 6 weeks or more recent, please be careful with this next movement and adhere to any movement precautions that you have been given. Please don't freak out because I'm on the floor. You can absolutely do this movement on the floor, on a bed, on a couch. Please go somewhere where you feel comfortable, of course, getting back up safely. Lie on your back. Bend your knees up as far as is comfortable. Have your knees about hip width apart. Feet firmly planted on the floor. Find the ground with your lower back, meaning tilt your hips back slightly. So now my lower back is touching the floor. There's no arch here. Let your knees relax out to the side while keeping your feet on the floor. Bring them back into hip width. Don't bring them all the way in. Allow your knees to relax out. Don't roll up on the outsides of your feet. Try to keep your feet firmly planted. It may help exhaling through this relaxation period and then inhaling as you bring your legs back to the start. Also, another thing to watch out for is keep your low back in contact with the floor. Don't allow it to arch up as you take your knees out. This can be another compensation. You may feel really tight in this position at first, and that is okay. As you move through these repetitions, you may notice that you're starting to get a little bit more mobility. If you have hip arthritis, this movement can be particularly challenging. Take what your body is giving you, gently relax into this position. You can even hold at the end for a few seconds before bringing your knees back to the starting point. Start with 5 to maybe 15 repetitions, depending on how this feels for you. This should not cause significant pain, and again, you are not forcing your body to move in a range of motion that it's not ready for. Now, movement number 3 is working this full range of motion. We're going to be making sure we have knee mobility and hip mobility, testing it in this modified figure 4 position. So the goal position that we're trying to get to is here, but this position may even seem impossible right now, and that's okay. So instead of trying to force your joints into this position, let's dial it back a notch and ease into it. One of my favorite ways to practice this, say maybe you have more difficulty on your right side, or that's the side you want to focus on. Straighten your left leg. Take your right heel and put it on top of your lower ankle. Now you're going to slide that heel up until you feel perhaps a restriction or maybe a little bit of pain. Slide it back down and repeat. Say I feel restriction maybe about halfway up my shin. I'm going to repeat this 10 times in this more comfortable range. Then after those 10 times, you can see if you can start to gain a little bit more range of motion. The goal being you're working on sliding that leg up to reach the knee. Once you can reach the knee, you can start bending that bottom leg further into this figure 4 position. But think about this in a long game situation. It may take a while to start to get that mobility. So start with that comfortable range, maybe for a few days, spending just moving into this. I often find a lot of people that aren't great at this position don't really practice this position. So we're really just trying to get repetitions that can be helpful for mobility, but also help to desensitize your joint to being in this figure 4 position. Once you can get to the knee, just take a couple of reps of doing that full range of motion. The more practice you can get can really help to make those long-term mobility improvements. This figure 4 position may not feel easy right now, and that's okay. You now have 3 movements to help you get there. Working just a little bit every day, maybe every other day, is a great place to start. Again, mobility needs consistency. Commit over the next couple of weeks and see how your mobility improves. Don't forget to share this video with family, friends, loved ones who may be dealing with this exact situation. Socks and shoes are important, and I want to make sure you can easily get them on and off. Subscribe to the channel down below for more mobility tips and tricks, strengthening moves, and more.